Probably at one point Winter Park Village was like that before it became Winter Park Village. They get that land and say, oh, we're going to build this thing and draw dollars and shopping and whatever, high-end restaurants, and then neighborhoods there get pushed out. Those people get paid a minimal amount for their properties and lose it to eminent domain or just a higher bidder trying to live downtown and be hip.
Yeah, a lot of people in Winter Park lost it, but not being educated, and definitely for the minimum. Yeah, giving they property and houses away, definitely.
Yeah. That's sad. But you look at it and it's like, it's like, damn, you want to tell them to keep that property, but these are people that are, they're struggling financially. There's a lot of things going on, and people give them that first offer, that first check. They're waving in front of their face. It's like, man, I can use this right now.
Yeah. Or you get the sometimes when the property owner passes and there's nobody's necessarily living there. There's a lot of different scenarios that could be preyed upon, in that situation.
Another thing too is, we're from we're from Winter Park, Eatonville, Winter Park area, and over the course of years, of course, they pushed a lot of the blacks out of the hood of Winter Park to the point where a lot of people don't even know Winter Park had a hood or has a hood. We got a couple streets now, and pushed us back towards Eatonville, Rosemont, and west side of Orlando.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Over the course of years.
Correct.
And excuse me, because I forgot. Of course, there's a word for it. Gentrification.
Correct.
Gentrification
inside of neighborhoods. You know what I mean?
Right.
We know it happened in Winter Park, but you can speak on it, and do you still see it happening in other neighborhoods? You see a lot of people talking about it. I know I went to Philadelphia one time, and people were talking about it even in Philadelphia.
It's everywhere.
No, I don't think it's something that's contained by any means to Orlando or Central Florida or Winter Park.
Yeah.
It kind of is what it is. I mean, if you kind of look a lot of times geographically to a city, you'll have hood neighborhoods that are close to kind of central areas, and then what you'll have is you'll have kind of the white yuppie crowd wants to live closer to their jobs and things like that, or they don't want to be stuck in the gated community suburbs, and so they start to look to areas that are geographically close to downtown and that they can buy land cheap and remodel or redo houses to kind of create this gentrified environment. And that's kind of what they do. And then the other side of it that I think you get is probably a little bit through what's known as eminent domain, and that's when the government will seize property. They'll have to pay a market value for it, but to basically build something for the public good, whether it be a highway, an extension, or even kind of like a bigger, newer shopping plaza. Probably at one point Winter Park Village was like that before it became Winter Park Village. They get that land and say, oh, we're going to build this thing and draw dollars and shopping and whatever, high-end restaurants, and then neighborhoods there get pushed out. Those people get paid a minimal amount for their properties and lose it to eminent domain or just a higher bidder trying to live downtown and be hip.
Yeah, a lot of people in Winter Park lost it, but not being educated, and definitely for the minimum. Giving they property and houses away, definitely.
Yeah. That's sad. But you look at it and it's like, it's like, damn, you want to tell them to keep that property, but these are people that are, they're struggling financially. There's a lot of things going on, and people give them that first offer, that first check. Waving in front of their face. It's like, man, I can use this right now.
Yeah. Or you get the sometimes when the property owner passes and there's nobody's necessarily living there. There's a lot of different scenarios that could be preyed upon, in that situation.
Kids beefing and they can't come up with an agreement. So
we got a situation. We got a situation right now in the family. My granddaddy passed last year or whatever, and his house this is in Sanford though. And the city or whoever, they came to my auntie and was like, hey, we want to buy this property, and the way your dad had it is the kids have to sign off. Now we're going to offer you X amount, right? But all of you guys have to sign off, and then we send you all checks. Monty was like, that offer was way too low or whatever. It was like whatever, a couple $1,000s, which is nuts.
A couple $1,000? Like,
yeah,
for real?
For real. And she's like, no, that's crazy. That is not even, whatever. It's not even $1,000 each between us because there's quite a few kids. And right. So then what they started doing was they was communicating with that one auntie, my oldest auntie or whatever, or second oldest, whatever, the whole time. And then they got slick and they started reaching out to each kid individually.
Right.
Right. And so, and then we, the way our family is set up, you got cliques, right? Two aunties and uncles, they don't get along with them. And then, but most of them was like, whatever, I'm going to ride with you. If you think we can get more, then we're going to ride with you to get more. Then they got to the one auntie. She just don't give a yeah, she called my daddy and she like, listen, mother, we can sign this and we can get this money and screw the rest of them. They don't know. These people not gonna give us no more money and this and that. And she's trying to, trying to upset the apple cart. But that's crazy how they how they do that, how they lowball, how they
that first offer definitely be disrespectful.
That's funny. It is. What you're saying is funny though too, because it's like, I'm just not a believer in like splitting things up that way, because you have that, like, instead of one person making a sensible decision over a particular property, now you have 4, 5, 6, 7 people making a decision, and you open up the door to cliques, or I'm beefing with this person, and the property doesn't become the property anymore. It becomes a tool to fight over.
Yeah.
And I think that's just, really bad. I mean, really bad. I mean, maybe the property should be held in trust. And obviously, it's too late for this now, but, a property can be held in trust with a designated trustee who's going to be responsible for making decisions like that, so that it doesn't come down to just, people haggling or, trying to figure stuff out on their own. You can't divide and conquer that way.
Yeah, it's real, but sometimes you don't never know until, like you say, your grandfather passes, your grandmother, the person that's supposed to be trusted, shoot, that money get involved. Now it's a whole nother ball.
A whole nother beast.
A whole nother demon you dealing with.
Man, I'm getting up there, son. I don't want to live that long, so I've had to start thinking about these things. Like, for real though, like, what is the best way to kind of administer your stuff?
That's real.
I mean, and there's other things, like other considerations, like, like minimizing tax, when you're passing something on to people and things of that nature. Definitely something that.
But then you got to be fair too. You don't want to give one more than the other, because then they're gonna be talking about you when you're gone.
Well, that don't matter. Remember, you're gone.
Yeah, it's already done for.
It don't matter.
Yeah, but
But you don't. I mean, ideally, if you have, like, I have kids, so you don't want them to be fighting. Amongst each other. Because of a decision.
That's the last thing you want.
In that way. So I mean, it is something to, to kind of consider in that way, and you don't put yourself in a position to be divided and conquered by the government.
I heard situations where they put it in the deed that anybody argue anything, nobody get anything, so they better sit down and come up with a good decision. I never heard that before.
Yeah. So I like that too. That too. Now. Another thing, and you guys are still on the bench podcast with Bubba and Pink on sports, music, and mayhem. Another thing, you were a part of one of the original Hoop Squad teams with Edgewater.
Yes, sir.
All right, and a very good, talented basketball player. Now, you are, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I say you're kind of like Rod Bombard from the aspect of when you guys left basketball, whether it's high school, college, what have you, you kind of just never really touched it again. Right. Like I you know what I'm saying. I know I remember you from a decent, I don't know, maybe mid-20s, late 20s. I don't never remember you in any men's leagues, any recs, LA Fitness, outside the park when we
the last of being in the rec center days. That was it. Meet up on Thursdays, but I guess my passion went away from it. Then getting into other things that wasn't positive, but. Once you have a dream and you see it, and you work so hard for it as a kid, and you drive and it don't work out for whatever reason, it kind of hit me with a blow, and my passion had left from it, and I found another passion, and eventually within the music game. But definitely that was my love, man. That was something I definitely wanted to take care of my family with one day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yo.
That's an interesting point for that makes sense.
Oh yeah, man.
Especially when it whatever when what you feel like didn't work out for you on that end, then you find another passion and just go hard at that.
It's hard when you first get in a situation where you deal with politics on a whole nother level. They take the love and the passion out of it. That because when you playing it, you can tell like Anthony Edwards, he still has the love of it as a child. You know what I'm saying? A lot of those players, you can still like even with LeBron, you still see that childhood love of the game. He takes it serious, but you know what I'm saying? You can still see that child in them when they still playing. And I think that left not only me, but a lot of guys that I talked to around the city, not just from Edgewater.
Right.
You know?
No, I do think that's that specific point. Like there's an importance in playing with joy, and having that because that's how you started.
Right.
You know, you started because you just liked the ball and doing stuff with the ball and playing and competing. And so, you know, for a guy to get to, you know, year 22 for LeBron and still have that is amazing.
Right.
But the two guys that you highlighted, the interesting thing is like, you know, the way their talent and their careers evolved, they're kind of immune to politics.
Right.
They're the guy in their situation, and it's easier to be joyful in that situation.
That's true. That's true.
And you know, we've talked in the past a lot. Like when you talk about the majority of the people that play in the NBA for a longer period of time, the thing that they've done is they've figured out what they need to do to stay in the league.
Right.
At one point, they were a high school star, AAU star, probably college star, and at some point in the league, they realized, okay, here are the things that I can do at an NBA level, and here's what I got to, the deficiencies I've got to hide. And I'm not an all-star, I'm not a superstar, but if I do this, I'm going to be in the league for a long time.
Speaking of Beverly averaged almost 40 points a game in high school and found a way in the NBA to make a living, not even scoring.
Yeah.
Patrick Beverly.
Yeah.
Patrick Beverly.
Yeah. And then, like, there's, you know, there's so many people along that road that those guys have traveled that the dream gets crushed. Sometimes it's injury. Sometimes it's just, you know, environmental, bad coaching experience, bad, you know, just something that crushes your enjoyment of the game.
Right.
And it's a very real thing to people that play sports, and particularly at a high enough level. And it's sad. You know, it's really disappointing. Now, I didn't play at any level. And I still love to play because it's like I didn't have to go through getting that crushed for me.
Right.
I've just always played on my own terms, enjoyed it on my own terms. And that's why, to me, it's still something exciting I get up to do every day. But I can completely understand, you know, where your journey took you and how that can really, you know, sap the enjoyment of the game.
Oh, yeah. It definitely, I mean, to cut you off, like when we graduated, that right before we graduated, my brother got locked up. Pops wasn't around at the moment. Shoot, then mess around, you know. Then I had a daughter in the process, so it's a lot of things that went in it, and that was just a point for me at that time to be strong and have faith. But at that time, I didn't, so I went off emotions and making the wrong decisions myself. I had to take accountability for, and getting into the wrong things after that. Yeah, so a lot of things coming with immaturity as well.
Facts.